Geraldine McGee, also known as Geri Rosenthal, was a former model and Las Vegas showgirl. Her involvement with casinos and the mob in Las Vegas, along with that of her husband Frank Lefty Rosenthal, was the inspiration for Martin Scorsese's classic film, Casino. Health Wealth Diary brings to you the story of the most powerful mob wife in Las Vegas. This is the Geri McGee Rosenthal story.
Mrs. Geri Rosenthal to Boogie Oogie. Woo! Let's try it. Okay, let's go.
Geri was born in Los Angeles, the daughter of Alice and Roy McGee. Her parents married in 1931 and had two children, Geraldine and Barbara. Geri grew up near Sherman Oaks, California, and graduated from Van Nuys High School in 1954. Her Aunt Naomi inherited a large amount of money after the death of her husband, whose family owned land in Georgia. Naomi offered to send Geri to Woodbury Business School, where she had sent Geri's sister Barbara. Geri told her aunt she did not want to attend Woodbury, but would rather attend a different school, and her aunt refused to pay for any other school but Woodbury. Geri instead began working as a secretary during the day and looked for modeling gigs during the night. In high school, Geri met an older boy named Lenny Marmer, and the two later became lovers. Lenny recognized Geri's talent, and he began entering her in modeling competitions, where she often took home the grand prizes. After they graduated from high school, the couple had a daughter, Robin Marmer, born in 1958. Lenny was the character named Lester Diamond in Casino, played by James Woods. Eventually, Lenny convinced Geri to move to Las Vegas for more opportunities, so Geri took her daughter and moved to Las Vegas with Lenny. Geri's mother, Alice, now separated from Roy McGee, also moved to Las Vegas to take care of Robin while Geri was working nights. Alice suffered from some mental illness, which put a strain on Geri and her daughter's home life. Her sister Barbara also moved in with her after separating from her own husband. Barbara McGee had two small children and needed a place to stay. In 1960, Geri started working as a casino cocktail waitress and Tropicana showgirl, making enough money to buy a house for herself and her family. She worked her way up the Las Vegas social ladder, meeting various businessmen. One of the men she met was Frank Lefty Rosenthal. Lefty was a prominent Jewish casino executive, professional sports bettor, and had deep ties with the mob. Born in Chicago, he became a pioneer in sports betting and managed several casinos in Las Vegas during the 1970s. Geri eventually became a casino hustler, hitting up gamblers for chips to play. She was pretty successful in her endeavors because by the time she met Lefty some 8 years later, Geri had earned enough to buy her own home and was supporting both her sister and ailing mother while also raising Robin. On May 4, 1969, Geri married Lefty Rosenthal and soon had two children with him, a son named Stephen and later a daughter named Stephanie. Lefty expected Geri to be a stay-at-home mom while he was out at the casinos working. After a few years, Geri began to resent domestic life, and she started going out at night and drinking. Geri was said to have been a devoted mother, but her marriage to Lefty was troubled, to say the least, a fact that he blamed on her alcohol and drug problems. Geri was still visited periodically by Robin's father Lenny, which would send Lefty on a jealous rage. The 13-year marriage went through a long series of breakups to makeups throughout the 1970s. Geri was also rumored to have had an affair with Tony Spilotro. Tony the Ant Spilotro was a real-life badass. He is also the real-life inspiration for Nicky Santoro, a character played by Joe Pesci in Casino. Spilotro was a mob enforcer for the Chicago outfit, known for his violent tendencies and criminal activities in Las Vegas during the 1970s and 1980s. He was also a longtime associate of Lefty. They knew each other since the old Chicago days. Lefty and Geri got in physical altercations, and Lefty hired private eyes to track her activities. Geri sometimes left Las Vegas, taking trips with their children to Los Angeles, where Geri would meet with her ex, Lenny. One day, Lefty returned home to find his wife and son missing, and his daughter tied by her ankle to her bed with a clothesline. That's when he got a call from Spilatro saying he was with Geri, and that she wanted to talk about their issues. Lefty met them at a bar, found his wife completely drunk, and took her home with a warning to Spilatro to stay away from her. But Lefty's various affairs, his abusive nature, and his domineering control over Geri only drove the couple further apart. Eventually, Lefty caught on that Geri was having an affair with Spilatro. When Geri admitted to her affair with Spilatro, Lefty flew into a rage. He began to divide up their belongings and filed for divorce. But not only had his marriage failed, Lefty had also now made an enemy of his old friend Tony Spilatro. And Spilatro now broke the mob code by sleeping with another crew member's wife. Geri and Lefty finally separated, with Geri apparently helping herself to a good chunk of Lefty's riches, and were divorced in January 1981. On October 4, 1982, when Lefty had finished eating dinner at Tony Roma's restaurant at 600 East Sahara Avenue in Las Vegas. He got back in his car, ready to take some food home to his kids, but as soon as he started the engine, the car blew up. Lefty survived the explosion, but the message was clear: someone wanted him dead. And only a few weeks later, just after their divorce was finalized, Geraldine McGee Rosenthal collapsed in the lobby of the Beverly Sunset Motel in California. Her body was bruised. She had drugs, booze, and tranquilizers in her system. She died 3 days later in a nearby hospital, only 46 years old. The cause of her death was never solved, but the doctor who pronounced her dead couldn't rule out foul play. Maybe Geri's past finally caught up with her, or maybe she was just another victim of a dangerous time in Vegas's history. Speculation about her death revolved around her ex-husband, mobsters, bikers, and one Lenny Marmer. The first was that Lefty put out a hit on Geri because of her betrayal. But to help clear his name, Lefty paid $50,000 for an autopsy that determined her death was caused by a lethal combo of whiskey, Valium, and a whole lot of cocaine. The second was that Geri was murdered by the same gangsters who'd tried to kill her ex-husband in the infamous failed car bomb attack that took place only weeks earlier outside Tony Roma's restaurant. The third involved a biker crowd she'd gotten involved with in Los Angeles, where Geri moved after the divorce. They'd either murdered her in order to help themselves to whatever was left of the reported $3 million in Lefty's cash and jewelry to which she'd helped, or they believed she had access to a lot more money than she actually did, and when they found out she had nothing left, they got rid of her. Lenny Marmor was also a person of interest in Geri's death, suspected of stealing her money, but that was never proved, and he remained free from all but a few minor legal issues until he died in 2016, at the age of 80. Lefty died on October 13, 2008, at the age of 79, of a heart attack. After his death, it was disclosed that Lefty had been an informant for the FBI the whole time. After Lefty's death, a retired FBI agent revealed in 2015 that Geri was also working with the FBI. Sometimes an agent met separately with both husband and wife on the same night. Tony Spilatro was killed on June 14, 1986, alongside his brother. Their deaths were the result of a mob hit. The brothers were lured to a house in Bensonville, Illinois, under the pretense of a meeting. Once there, they were murdered by members of the Chicago outfit, and their bodies were buried in a cornfield in Indiana. This hit was reportedly sanctioned due to Spilatro's erratic behavior and unauthorized criminal activities in Las Vegas, where he oversaw the outfit's operations in the casinos. It is also rumored that the nail in the coffin for the order of Spilatro's murder was a result of an extramarital affair with Lefty's wife, Geri. The mob did not forgive adultery. Geri loved money, obtaining it, spending it, flaunting it. She was a Vegas showgirl and a hustler at a time when everyone in Vegas was in on a hustle. Geri McGee Rosenthal was the queen of the casinos and the mob wife who ruled Las Vegas. What are your thoughts on Geri Rosenthal? Leave your thoughts on the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the Health Wealth Diary.